Congratulations in deciding to go to Glacier National Park. It is the gem of the Rockies. It is one of the most spectacular parks in our entire country. This video is intended to help you plan your entire trip to make it the most successful. I am a travel photographer and a landscape photographer, so my focus is that, and I hope to help you along that path. But I have a confession to make. You see, not long ago, I was completely ignorant of the charms and the beauty of Glacier National Park. I had been to Yosemite, I had been to the Rocky Mountain National Park, I had been to the Grand Canyon, I've been to many, many places. My wife had been to Glacier and she kept mentioning it, but I thought it couldn't be that fantastic. Well, this year we decided to start doing our research and decided to raise that up onto the list. And uh, this is the result of that. So it's in the research that we came up with this amazing list of why you should go to Glacier National Park. So why is Glacier National Park so amazing? Glacier is a photographer's paradise. It's filled with incredible beauty everywhere you turn. Great hikes, waterfalls, glaciers. It's just immensely beautiful. Going to the Sun Road covers 50 miles of a road that was historically difficult to build, and the views are beautiful over and over again, with amazing landscapes, glaciers, cascading waterfalls, and so much more. Glacier is on the Continental Divide. It basically separates east from west in America, and what a perfect way to do it. There are some 71 different species of mammals in the park, and probably the greatest is the grizzly bear, or the collection of bears they have there. And we expect to see many bears on this trip. That'll be part of the planning. The stunning beauty of Lake McDonald, Grinnell Glacier Trail, and many, many, many more. Frankly, there's something for everyone to do. In our world, on this trip, we're going to be hiking and hiking a lot to get to the most beautiful places for photographers. So I hope you find this helpful. First of all, I'm going to tell you how we plan for our trip, and I would recommend you plan very similarly. I would highly recommend go to the Glacier National Park website. All of these links are going to be in the description down below, so just go check them out. So read all the reviews, read all the information about what's happening in the park. We found out that there is a requirement during the summer anyway, there's a requirement for a day pass to even get into the park. This is COVID related somewhat, and it's also related to the huge volume of people going to the park. But we also learned that that restriction comes to an end on September 6th. That's why we planned to go after September 6th. There's no longer a requirement for the day pass. But we also were going to be going to the Many Glacier Road, and we found out that that road was going to be closing after September 19th. So we moved our trip around a little bit so we could get to that area before the 20th, when the road was all closed. I believe they're going to be doing some construction there. So my point is there's many great resources on that website, and they really keep you up to date on everything that's happening that may affect your trip. Secondly, post on social media about your trip. Ask your friends for recommendations. That's a great way to get some great recommendations and some great ideas. We did exactly that, and wow, it blew us away. People are so excited about this location, this park. They had so much great information. Then we purchased some great books and maps, etc. And again, those are in the description also. The first fabulous book was Yellowstone to Glacier National Park. It's kind of a regional area. We're actually going to be driving to the park from Minnesota to Montana. It's about a day or so drive, but we needed our car there the whole time, and rental cars are such a problem this time of year, or this year because of COVID again. So we wanted our own vehicle. We wanted to be able to get around on our time and with no additional cost for like a rental car. So we're driving. This particular book gives us an idea of all kinds of things around the park. Also, everything you want to see as you're approaching, the different ways you may want to approach, the places you may want to stay. So it's a great resource for that. Secondly, Glacier National Park by Becky Lomax. It's a fantastic book about the details of the park. Obviously, it hits all the number one highlights strongly. It gets all the information. It tells you all the details about all of those places, so you really know what the park is. So you're less surprised when you actually get there. There's plenty of details on those primary areas, but also secondary areas as well. Many great ideas. And then there's a great map. It's Day Hikes of Glacier National Park by Jake Bamenti. Um, it it's a heavy duty map, so it's kind of like laminated or plastic covered. It shows the detail of the park exceedingly well, but it also has all the hikes in his recommended order based on beauty, based on difficulty, and other characteristics. But it's really a great list to help you focus your mind on what things do you want to hit first. So with those three resources, you'll be very well prepared for your trip. We created a map, a Google map of everything that we want to hit, and that's down in the description as well. Check that out for just a great overview of the park. We'll be leaving pictures and things like that on the map itself, so you will be able to see exactly what the areas look like, and we'll keep that all updated. There are two more resources that I'd like to make you aware of. They're just two little websites, two little articles that might be helpful for your planning. The first one is Best Things to Do in Glacier. It's from the Crazy Family Adventure. It's just a simple article that quickly gives you an idea of some fun things to do. The second one is for you photographers and you Instagrammers, the best places for sunrises in Glacier National Park. So be sure to check that one out as well. Both of those are links down in the description below. Another important thing to realize is as you get to Glacier, you will not have cell phone coverage, or you most likely won't have very good cell phone coverage. So be sure to download all your Google Maps ahead of time, or at least if you're staying in any of the towns around the park, download them the day of your trip and your hike. So it'll give you the directions in the region and the area. Download all those things for offline viewing. Secondly, I would highly recommend you get the application AllTrails, especially if you're going to be hiking. Download it. I would even purchase it. It's such a great app. It really is. Gives you ideas how difficult the trail is, gives you ideas of the elevation gain, and it keeps you on the trail. So it'll significantly reduce your chances of getting lost while you're on the trail. Be sure to check those two applications and tools out. For your accommodations around the park, you'll have to decide if you're a great outdoors person. You'll be camping. Will you be in a camper? Will you be staying in town, or how are you going to do that? There's all kinds of great resources for that. We decided to go Airbnb. Maybe we're old enough where we like comfort a little bit, so we're staying in the park for actually 2 weeks. So we're going to be around a long time. We're going to be hiking a lot. So we wanted comfortable enough places, and there are wonderful resources around there. We will link in the description the Airbnb actual places that we stayed, and then you'll be able to see our reviews of them as well. So we come into the park. We're coming in on the west side. As you check out your maps, there's enough over in that area. We'll start with the Going to the Sun Road, and start doing some different hikes on the west side of the park. And then we'll go up to the northeast side of the park at the northeast entrance and Bab. There's two locations there. We'll be there for 4-ish more days. Then we'll go down to the southeast section of the park as well and explore that. So we're hitting the park fully. We won't be doing this 700 different hikes, but we'll be getting a lot of hikes in. We'll see many places in the park. So if you're doing something similar, you'll have to figure out where exactly you're going to stay. So spend plenty of time and energy on planning your accommodations. It's exceedingly important that you understand the weather conditions that you'll be traveling in. Check ahead of time the average weather, the average temperatures for the time that you're going, the average precipitation, the type of precipitation, and then specifically when you're as you're getting closer and closer to the specific time, especially if you're a week out or whatever, the forecast should be good enough to let you know if it's going to be a deluge or snow conditions or whatever. We're traveling in September. The average temperatures in September are a low of 38, a high of 60-ish. These are just average conditions. Rain is 9 days of September, so plenty of rain. So that means uh, be prepared for rain. Be prepared for cool or cold conditions. Um, uh, it's already fall. You could get snow already. You could get ice and snow. So be prepared for those conditions. We'll be prepared with hats and gloves, rain gear, puffer coats, hats, gloves, hiking boots, wool socks, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to even bring long johns. I'm going to bring zip off pants. So pack in layers, be ready to hike in layers and be able to quickly remove layers and put layers back on also. Also remember cotton is not something you'll want to be wearing. Try to use the modern fabrics that wick moisture exceedingly well. Make sure you're not wet. You can get very cold very quickly if you're wet, either by rain or sweating or whatever. So be aware of that. Be prepared with enough water for your activities. There could be times when you're out in the outback and water is not available. So understand, REI recommends that you have between 1/2 and 1 full liter of water per hour of hiking or physical activity. As the temperatures go up, you'll need more, but understand you need lots of water. And if you're not in a public space where you can readily get water, you have to carry it in. In our world, we're going to be going with each person has two 32-ounce water containers for their daily activities, and we have a water filter, so we'll be able to make our own water, or not make it, but filter our own water and clean our own water throughout the day. Oftentimes in Glacier, there's water all over the place. There's glacial lakes, all kinds of things. So we'll be watching for that. And we'll be aware of that, but that's the way we're going to be doing it. Also, we'll have camelback type packs also with water. I'll be carrying a huge photography backpack, so I will not have that kind of water container. I'll be actually having two 32 ounces attached to my camera bag and carrying it that way. So just be aware you need lots of water when you're out and active. Be aware that Glacier National Park has plenty of animals around the park, and it's especially noted for its quantity of bears. Bears are beautiful, of course, but they're also dangerous. So be prepared appropriately. We'll be bringing bear spray for each of us, and we'll have bear bells on us as well. They help you to not surprise the bears ahead of time, so that they don't want to be running into us any more than we want to be running into them. So prepare appropriately, and maybe pay attention if you're really concerned. There are websites out there on what to do if and when you run into a bear. We don't expect to run into one. There'll be enough people out there that are watching for bears. And as soon as someone sees a bear, everyone's going to be screaming and pointing and commenting on it. So just be aware they're there and be prepared to act appropriately. It's very important to prepare for first aid. You don't want to run into some situation where you get injured and you have nothing to take care of that. So uh, be sure to purchase a first aid kit and have it with you. Some of the things you'll need: always bring a knife out in the outback. Bring bandages. Bring flashlights. Bring whistles. Bring uh, what is a compass? All that stuff. Um, uh, Bring a first aid kit that's especially created for outback activity. It has all the stuff you need, or just go online and search for a great first aid kit for being in the outback. But be prepared ahead of time to keep safe in the outback. You'll be happy that you did. Now let's discuss camera gear. What's the appropriate amount? How much you're going to carry? Uh, how do you make this possible? And of course, for some of you, it's only going to be your cell phone, and that's great. The modern cell phones are so good, and they can capture amazing content. So that'll be just fine. But for other of you professional photographers and other aspiring professional photographers, you will need more equipment. So let's discuss that a little bit. First of all, I always recommend a tripod. Um, the trick here is get something light enough that you can easily carry, but stable enough that you can stabilize your camera. It's critically important in the morning or in the evening when the light is most interesting that you stabilize your camera to get the best shot possible. Whenever I'm training students, I'm always encouraging them, get a tripod, use a tripod. But it certainly adds to your weight that you will be carrying. That's a major factor for hiking in the outback as a photographer. Secondly, you need a backpack. And so I am fully situated as a hiker. So I'm using the Low Pro. It's a large backpacker type backpack. So many containers. It's perfect for packing up cameras and everything. The beauty is it has the strap here and it has the adjustable straps here. So as you pack in the weight, you can carry it comfortably throughout the day. Some of our hikes are going to be 11 and 12-mile hikes. This is a day-long hike. You have to be exceedingly comfortable with your backpack. So this one's very well padded here. It also breathes well, so you're not sweating into it. It's easily accessible. Carry a tripod right back here. And all of my gear will fit in there easily. The camera, the main weapon. I'm a Sony guy, but whatever your camera is, the camera body is less and less important. But you're going to be out in the weather, so make sure your camera is weather tight, relatively weather tight. Or if you're in weather, be sure that you're changing lenses in a time that you're not getting moisture and dirt in the filter or in the sensor on the inside. So treat that cautiously. I'm an odd bird, so you might notice I've got a Sony body, but I'm strapping on Canon lenses because I used to be a Canon guy, and I'm still transitioning from my Canon lenses to my Sony lenses. So none of that matters that much. The trick is get the best equipment that you can in an affordable range. I'm the type of photographer, I try to do more with less. So I'm only bringing I'll be bringing 4 lenses with me. And this particular lens, the 24-105, it's my 80% lens. It's on my camera almost all the time. It's for my landscape work. It's relatively wide, so I can get the whole scene. And it's a great lens. There's another lens. It's the 14 millimeter. This is my second most expensive lens. It's just a very wide lens. So in some scenes, maybe if the flowers are still in bloom somewhere, you want to get the huge flowers in focus and the mountain scene in focus and the glacier in focus. You'll use a very wide lens to catch the up close, the foreground interest, and the background in the same place. This is an amazing lens, so consider having a wide lens available for you. Frankly, my 24-105 might be wide enough for most of my activity, but not all of it. And then I have a macro lens to allow me to, if I want to do some macro work on flowers or other small detailed things, I'll be bringing that along. And then It's the giant lens for getting uh, bears off in the distance. So this would be my wildlife lens. So this is a 100 to 400 millimeter lens. This is a heavy lens. So I'll be carrying a heavy lens. I'll be traipsing around with a heavy lens. So that will be the challenge of much of this trip, uh, determining when to bring this out on a hike, when not to, what's the right tool for the task as I'm working along through that. All right. You need filters. Polarizer filter for getting the bluest skies, cutting out haze. So that just improves images easily. It's easy to play with. You just rotate it around when it's on your lens. This one fits on my 24 to 105, so the most frequent setup. And then I have graduated filters and a whole filter pack here. This is for those situations when you want to take very long exposure. So you might be in bright light midday, but you still want to take a 5-minute exposure. It's these filters block out most of the light. What that does then is ends up making your water completely smooth. It makes your clouds flowy as they flow by you, and it's really a great, interesting effect. So, yep, I'm bringing those babies along for sure as well. All kinds of extra cards. So memory cards, 64, 128 gig or whatever. So you need lots of memory cards because I'm going to be shooting a lot. You can delete some bad images along the way, but in general, just shoot like crazy and clean up later is my main method for capturing great stuff. Also bring your cables, your chargers, and all of those extra tidbits with you. I'm actually filming with my phone right now, so my phone is going to be working throughout the trip. Also with videos, with images, also quick, beautiful images that can be shared quickly. And I think that's it. So we hope this video was helpful for you, helped you plan for your trip, so now you can be comfortable and confident that you have everything well planned and everything ready to go. If you like what you saw here, be sure to like the video, leave us a comment, ask some questions. We get back to everybody throughout our social media world and interact here on YouTube. And also share it with your friends. We greatly appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe also to our channel. We would greatly appreciate that. And until next time, get out and capture the adventure.